it's easy for us academics to whinge that we don't have enough money. But I think this is where I think we have to collaborate. We have to partner. Sometimes I feel a bit frustrated if I talked earlier about antimicrobial resistance. I often think to myself, well, let's assume generating a new drug costs $3 or $4 billion. What's wrong with actually creating a pot of 10 billion and saying, right, Brian, here's 10 billion. You've got a decade. Now go away and come up with 3 or 4 new antibiotics. I think it's doable. I think it requires that critical mass. And 10 billion, maybe one government can't afford it, but it's not unreasonable to think 5 governments could put 2 billion each. And this is a problem for the whole planet. It's not for one country, etc. So I think we do need to push these discussions. I suppose the other challenge we've got, of course, is you can imagine, and we sometimes do this, even in the UK we do it. In the UK we have universities competing with each other to do the same thing for that same small pot of money. And in the US, the NIH budget, what is it, 30 odd billion, etc. You can imagine Alzheimer's groups will go to them, oh, you need more money for Alzheimer's. The cancer group will go along, we need more for diabetes, we got rare diseases, mental health. And there just is not enough money to go around. And this is why I think it's so important to try and reduce this duplication and wastage. If we assume the global pot of money for biomedical research is fixed, governments can't afford more, industry can't afford more. If we want that pot to deliver more drugs, then we need to make that pot more efficient. I give the example in Alzheimer's. So you're all aware that in the 90s we came up with the amyloid hypothesis. So this protein, amyloid, accumulates in the brain. As a consequence of that accumulation, you get death of neurons, you get dementia, you get cognitive decline. Now, for the past 20, 30 years, lots of biotech companies, lots of pharma companies, they've been trying to stop the synthesis of that protein. They've been trying to increase its breakdown, and they've been trying to increase its clearance from the brain. Now, after 20, 30 years, we probably spent $30 billion on that hypothesis, and we still don't have a drug. Because a lot of this data is being done in parallel, in secret. Some of these clinical studies, they are phase 3 studies. One of the Lilly phase 3 studies cost $750 million. $750 million for one clinical study.